Hello bass family and welcome to Everything Bass. Today we're continuing on in our series with the Hyperneck Study Unit 3 this time. And this one has a specific goal. Now you'll notice it's the same concept as the previous two units, but we're doing it on a single string this time. And what we're focusing on is the ability to shift accurately and to also know the notes that aren't adjacent to the one we're on. Let me explain. When we're first learning the notes of the fingerboard, we might know this is an A, and because we're here and we know that between A and B there's a whole step, we know this is B. But it's common as you're getting to know your fingerboard that just because you know this is an A, you might not know that's an E, because you have what's called positional understanding of the fingerboard. You're in one position, so you understand the note in the next position. Now we're going to work on being able to just know the fingerboard outright without having to have this relational understanding between the note you're on and the next note. I know I'm saying lots of words, so let's just get into the exercise. That's probably the best. It's early here, so give me a little bit of time to get the old machinery oiled up. So we're going to start with the three-note triplet that's A, B, C. And every other pattern we play is going to go back to the A, B, C. So here we're going to start A, B, C, then you shift up to the next natural note, B, C, D. Now you go back to A, B, C, but you skip the B and go right to the C. Go C, D, E. Go back to the A, B, C, go to the D, E, F, A, B, C, E, F, G, A, B, C, F, G, A, B, C, G, A, B, A, B, C, A, B, C. And of course, once you've done that, you can move it to any other single string on your bass and do the same concept with just natural notes. But for the first many units of this, we're just working on learning where all the natural notes are. Because really, then we'll know where the sharps and flats are, although we will have versions of this that will incorporate different key signatures. So, practicing this, don't forget about metronomes, forget about drum machines, any kind of timekeeper at first until you really understand it. Then if you want to use some kind of timekeeper to work up your speed and your accuracy, stay fluid, that's fine. But initially just work on where these notes are. Now you notice I said the letters of the name of each note while I was practicing it. That is the most effective way of memorizing it, is actually verbalizing it, saying it out loud. So take your time and do that. Even if at first you're A, B, C, and then you shift up B, C, D. Even if it's slow, it's valuable. And it's slow for a purpose. That's because you're learning it. And take it slow. Don't put any pressure on yourself. And then after a while, you'll be able to get smoother. So, take your time with the exercise. Give yourself lots of grace. But don't sleep on it. It's really valuable. I got to tell you, the reason I created that particular exercise is early on as a player, I would see wonderful, amazing bass players, and they'd be playing, and they'd come up here, and they'd play down here, and they were jumping these large jumps on the fingerboard, and I didn't have the skill set for that. So I sat down one day and figured out, why don't I have the skill set? And I realized it was two things: not knowing my fingerboard well enough, and then not having the accuracy to go up and hit the spot I needed to. Sometimes I would want to go up to like this 12th fret on the G string, and I'd accidentally go up to the 13th, or I'd come a little bit short, or it wouldn't be clean. So this exercise is for you, and run it through, try it on each individual string, and I think it'll have a lot of value for you. It sure did for me, and that's why I'm passing it on as Unit 3. Okay, so today's Encore Item, we're going to talk about a big band that was influential to me. And I'm trying to bring up bands and artists or certain recordings that maybe aren't so mainstream. And this one came up as I was teaching private lessons. I had mentioned the band Kansas, and my student, who is significantly younger than me, didn't know anything about the band. Knew the song Carry On My Wayward Son, but didn't really know about the band or their other songs. So I make the same recommendation to him that I now make to you, which is the Best of Kansas. A wonderful CD. The band is an amazing blend of progressive music, yet commercial appeal, wonderful vocals, great arrangements, and the bass player, simply amazing. I also, if you are preparing to go into a music university or any kind of institute afterwards to study music, one thing I would say is work on your ear training. The work you do now will make the college years a lot easier. And if you really want to start transcribing, this is a great all-around resource for you, because not only are the bass parts recorded extremely well and you can hear the fundamental of each note, and he's such a clean player, but there's unique time signatures, there's odd groupings, so it really will push you. But it's not so frustrating, because when I first started doing transcriptions, sometimes the bass parts weren't recorded very clearly, and it was frustrating because I couldn't hear what the bass player is doing. I can highly recommend as a great resource for you working in your ear training. Another thing I might suggest, if you are working on transcribing a part, any part, it doesn't have to be bass, and you're having a hard time really hearing definition, I would avoid streaming services. If you really, really want to make a study of it, get the CD. It's a lot clearer, a lot less compressed. I find that when I'm working off of a streaming service trying to transcribe a part and I can't hear it, if I go ahead and just get the CD from one of the retailers, everything's a lot clearer. I can hear there's more depth, so all the notes aren't smushed together. So it's really, really important as you go forward as a transcribing bassist. Go with the CD option. Okay, well, so we have HyperNeck Study 3. Again, if you're a Patreon subscriber, go to patreon.com/everythingbass, capital E, capital B, and you'll be able to download this PDF. So you'll have it, you can add it to your workout book. And it's basically every video I do has a post with the name of the video as the name of the post. So you can find HyperNeck Study Unit 3, click on that, it'll bring up an attachment, that's a PDF, and you can download that and add that to your lesson book. Sound good? All right, HyperNeck Study 3, best of Kansas, and I will see you the next time.